Dress watches can be a bit boring. A lot of them almost look identical to each other. Baltic is a French watch company, and I think they're adding a breath of fresh air with their new dress watches collection called Prismic. In today's video, I will do a full review of this model, give you all the positives and the negatives as I find them, and try to explain why I think this is such a unique watch. Let's begin, as always, by talking about the case construction. The case is made out of a combination of 316L stainless steel and grade 5 titanium. It's 36mm in diameter, 44mm from one lug to another. It's only 9.5mm thick, including the domed sapphire crystal, and it features a 20mm lug opening. The case architecture is broken down into three separate components. You have the bezel, the main portion, and the case back. The bezel is made out of stainless steel, and it features a combination of satin and high polish finishes, and it adds quite a bit of visual interest the way it plays with the light. The lugs are made out of stainless steel, and they're executed with a high polish and brushed finishes, high polish on the top, satin on the sides, and they're attached to the main portion of the case. That portion is made out of grade 5 titanium, and it features this sort of matte finish. It looks very interesting. It even has a slightly different color to the stainless steel. Looks very unique, unlike anything else I've seen on any other dress watch. Lastly, you have the case back. That's made out of stainless steel and features mainly brushed finishes. It's held in place using screws. This is a dress watch, so it only has 30 meters of water resistance. The caseback has a display window showcasing this beautiful hand-wound movement, about which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. The crown is located at the 3 o'clock position. It's a simple push-pull style crown, and Baltic decided not to have any branding on the crown. It's an unsigned crown, which in my book is a bit of a negative, although to be fair, most people wouldn't even notice that detail. Because of the case construction, the crown almost appears to be recessed into the case. Now that of course looks really good because the crown doesn't really stick out of the case. However, it does have a slight negative of being hard to wind, especially if you have sausage fingers like mine. This watch is all about layers and different textures. It is seriously impressive how much depth they were able to achieve in such a thin package. This dial could be broken down into 3 separate sections, and each one has a different finish and a different look. So first of all, you have the most inner section with this sort of guillot-shaped pattern. It looks very sharp and it plays with the light in a very interesting way. That's actually where the logo is featured. The outer part of the dial, that's where the hour indexes are housed, features this almost brushed finish, and again, it interacts with the light in a completely different way from the inner portion, which adds a lot of unique visual detail. Lastly, there is a sub counter at the 6 o'clock position for the running seconds hand, and this part of the dial features a grainy finish, once again completely different from the rest of the dial. It is bordered off with a brushed stainless steel ring with these divots for every 5-second increment. I also really like how the indexes at the 3, 9, and 12 o'clock positions kind of overhang over the inner portion of the dial, which gives this dial a sense of depth. The set of hands look like a pair of tiny little swords with the dual brushed and high polished finishes. I should note that this model is available in 4 different color combinations. This green one is my favorite. I love how the shade of green interacts with the light. In some lighting conditions, it looks very dark. In a direct sunlight, it looks very light. It's just a very alive color. My second favorite is probably this blue color. I think it would also look really nice in person. And lastly, you have this sort of salmon one and the purple. All colors look very sharp, but as I said, the green one is my favorite. The watch comes on a mesh bracelet, and I'm a fan. I'm gonna call this a bracelet and not a strap because it is integrated into the watch case. It's not a simple straight lug like you would find on a standard mesh strap that you can just buy from the store. No, there is a lot more thought and engineering that went behind creating this strap. It belongs with this watch. The quality is good and it is integrated into the case pretty well, although I do have to note there is a bit of a gap between it and the case because of the case construction, so you can see a little bit of a wiggle and a little bit of a gap. It's okay when it's on the wrist, but when you're just holding the watch in your hand, you can definitely feel that gap. I like these mesh bracelets because they're infinitely adjustable, so you can get that perfect fit. And overall, I think it kind of looks really good with the overall design of this watch. It looks like this watch belongs on a strap or a bracelet like this. There is a quick release system on this bracelet, so you can easily swap it for a leather strap. By the way, the strap is excellent. It's very good quality, thin and comfortable. This black leather strap features pretty simple hardware, but it is of a good quality. It also has a couple of quick release pins for an easy swap. And what I really appreciate is the fact that this strap has curved pins for a more cohesive fit within the case. Again, it just looks like it belongs for this watch specifically. Such attention to detail is what I really appreciate from watch companies like Baltic. On the wrist, as you would imagine, this watch is very comfortable. It's very light and very thin, as a good dress watch should be. On my 7.5 inches wrist, I think the watch actually looks pretty good. Again, this is a dress watch, so it has to be a bit on the smaller side. However, I would say that this watch, being 36 millimeters, looks closer to 38 millimeters on the wrist. So if you have about the same size of a wrist as mine or smaller, I think you'll be totally fine wearing a watch of this size. As I said previously, these mesh bracelets are infinitely adjustable, so you can get that perfect fit for your wrist. Also, you could swap it for a leather strap. On the leather strap, the watch looks completely transformed. It looks more like a traditional dress watch, but it is still equally as comfortable because this leather strap is so thin. I didn't find this watch to be uncomfortable in any way. I couldn't find any awkward pressure points. Even the way this crown is integrated into the case doesn't really dig into your wrist. So overall, a very comfortable fit. This collection is powered by the ETA manual wind 7001 movement, which features 17 joules, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it has 42 hours of power reserve. I think the reason why Baltic chose this movement is twofold. Number one, because of how thin it is, and number two, because of its looks. This is a very pleasing movement to look at. First of all, the architecture of the movement is laid out really well. Just looking at it through a display caseback, not knowing much about movements, this is a very pleasing movement to look at. Secondly, you also have a bit of decoration. There is some Geneva striping and blued screws, which belongs with this design. Overall, I think Baltic did a fantastic job with this watch. Yes, there are a couple of negatives, such as the mesh bracelet having slight gap between it and the case, and the fact that the crown is slightly hard to wind, but other than that, I think they nailed it. I really like the look of this watch. I like how unique and different it looks, yet it still looks like a traditional dress watch. Baltic was able to achieve this dichotomy. So if you're in the market for a dress watch and if you're okay with the size and the looks of it, I don't think you will be disappointed. This watch is currently available for pre-orders at 1,050 euros, which is a bit high, but I think taking all the different materials and the movement and the unique design of it is sort of fair. You do have to wait a little bit. Pre-orders close on February 25th, and you will be taking deliveries in mid-July to October. So there is a slight wait, which is a bit of a negative. But if you're okay with that, I think you'll be very happy with this watch. Thanks for watching this video all the way until the end. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more reviews and videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this watch. Are you picking one up? Are you skipping it? What you like or don't like about it? I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.